Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. That's different. Thanks for joining me at this special time. World War III. Hey, check it out. News is real. Oh my God, what the hell? Oh, yeah, I know. I think it's just because Trump knows the algorithm. Did I use all caps? Yeah. You guys. Oh man. So predictable. Yeah, I was telling people, I was like, oh, what do I lead with? I was like, the Dalai Lama thing is pretty messed up. But World War III, I've used that title before. That always works. Trump knew the algorithm. I think that's what he was. Nobody knows, right, buddy? What he was thinking. Okay, you guys like my new profile pic? So yeah, I think okay. I'll explain what's going on. Let me share the show. Check out my new profile pic. I might want to get more. That's what I'm using for my YouTube profile pic. I was thinking of changing the name of the channel too, but you guys decide. I don't know. Once you have a name, then people stick with it. Like PewDiePie, nobody knows his name. Yeah, they do kind of. Mr. Beast, that Star Wars girl, the Umbrella guy. Lift the veil. We'll see. Somebody said, "Oh, you don't really do that anymore." So maybe you should call yourself something different. I was like, okay. But I have a new picture. It's nice, right? I would use that. I have other ones the AI made too. Okay, so we have news. I'll do the news. I'll tell you about the new format. I'll go over everything. We'll go over different stuff. I'm able to go longer if we feel like it. There's some kind of update. I have to look into it. There's some kind of update about YouTube policy and guidelines. So I have to look into that. An update that, what the heck? An update which might mean that you can't like do what Viva Frei does, which is link directly to another, like do a stream and say, oh, I'm going to Rumble. I heard that that's not going to be allowed anymore. And actually, or like if I said, oh, we're going to go to Rockfin, like I've done before, I'm going to look it up. I listened to the Quarterings video about it. But I need to read it for myself and see what the rules are. Did you guys have a good Easter? I made some art for Easter of Jesus and the Easter Bunny. I just thought it was really funny. Okay, hold on. I got to share this show. Camera angle okay? Poofy haired fancy boy says, how we looking? You're looking good, man. You're looking good. We're all looking good. Jimmy Berman says, I like reality Nathan better than virtual Nathan. That's that's cool. I appreciate that. I like virtual Nathan actually better. Even though like I mean this is good, it's okay. But I like it. It's like a portrait, It does dogs too. There's an app for it. I use an app. It made other pictures too. I could show them to you, but they're on my phone. Most of them weren't that good, but yeah, there's an app. You give it selfies. It's called Lensa. You have to pay for it, or you have to pay per thing of selfies. Or yeah, and then it makes a bunch of different pictures and different kind of styles and stuff. I think it's cool, actually. I like it. Bitcoin is pumping. I had a dream. I had a dream about Bitcoin actually, just like before I woke up this morning. Okay, let's see. What is that? Oh, I see what that is. So yeah, the reason the show's earlier, and maybe I'll post this to a podcast. And if you're listening to this podcast, this last week I was doing like live streams at different times that were longer, and they were kind of on breaking news events to a large extent. There's one really long stream which has a lot of interesting stuff in it, which is on YouTube and Rockfin. And it's not, I didn't post it as a podcast, but if somebody says they want me to, then I will. It's probably not that hard for me to do. So yeah, there was a long stream. What was that? Saturday? Was it Saturday night with Hoax Wars? Friday night, I think. Hoax Wars was on there. We were talking about some deep stuff. Bitcoin's pumping as we speak. Anyway, I had a dream. It looked a little like this, actually. I was looking at a Bitcoin chart, and the green was like, and it was almost like I couldn't see high enough in my dream to follow how high Bitcoin was going. And I felt, and I was like, I think I was really excited in the dream. So let's take a look at the chart. Mm-hmm. 29.3. That's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I might be right about Bitcoin. I have an appointment. Somebody made an appointment with me for crypto consulting. You guys have Bitcoin? No, most people don't. I think, yeah, most of you don't. It's not too late though. It's still cheap. Under 30K. That's all right. That's still cheap. Yeah, it's not that hard to get it. Gold is kind of down today though. Gold and silver. So we're going to talk about, let's see, I have just a bunch of different things. The Dalai Lama, Arnold Schwarzenegger apologizing, school diversity standards. I have some thoughts that are really against the popular narrative in a few different areas. One of them I've been thinking about in particular is school admissions, race-based admissions. So I have some thoughts about it that are super counter narrative. We'll call this counterpoints. And then I can talk to you about trans news. We can talk about trans news. It looks like Bud Light. I mean, people are saying Bud Light is, I saw a video of a store with a ton of Bud Light. And I think the implication of the video was that nobody's buying it and a store has a ton of it. So I'll show you that. Jimmy Berman says, "Oh, Jonty, you're cute. A pretend consultant." What are you? Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jonty. Because I just pretend to know what I'm talking about, right? Well, I'm kind of a pretend YouTuber too, so it's all kind of pretend. Like you're a pretend chat participant, like you're a pretend comedian, you know. So, but yeah, I have. What else do I have? Sorry, sometimes like if you troll me, I might say something about it. A little more sensitive lately. So I want to talk to you about that. I'll talk to you about those things. And then there was a mass shooting, which we want to look into. I got to look at the policies. I got to look at the policy change on YouTube and see exactly what it is. Yeah, then we can talk about what's going on with Dylan Mulvaney and stuff. So, and that person from Young Turks. That's what their show's called, right? Young Turks. Anna, she's doubling down on saying that she wants to be called a woman, and everybody else is doubling down on saying she's a TERF. And how can she say this at this delicate moment for trans people when trans people are under attack everywhere and so forth? So, I have like an update about tipping, DoorDash and tipping that I got involved with. There's an article in the LA Times about how DoorDash drivers are complaining that they're not getting big enough tips on their huge sushi orders. So I had a comment on that people seem to think was relevant. So I'll tell you about that too. All right. So that's it. We'll go over that. I'll check out the chat. We'll go through it. I might take phone calls and stuff. We will collect super chats. Why am I doing? It's because I can do, if I want the show to go longer, I can, first of all, at this time. And second of all, my other job is more lucrative, it turns out, in the dinner time hours. So that's all. So it makes more sense since this is like my not serious job. I've moved the time of this, and maybe we can get people to in. Maybe people prefer it. And I'm not going up against Tim Pool either. So, all right, now I have to turn this off. I haven't even shared this video yet. World War III. He tweeted out a few crazy things for Easter. He said, "Happy Easter," and then he was like, "Kill all the Democrats." He didn't say that, but he really went off. Donald Trump is on edge. And then he tried to hire Laura Loomer recently. Laura Loomer is a real character. There are a few characters on the right. I had to debunk a conspiracy theory about me over the weekend. I successfully debunked it and made a new friend. So all that and more. Okay. All that and more. You can donate to the show anytime. Super chats and coffees. Yeah, we sell t-shirts. I had the camera set up to show the t-shirt better, but I am like looking down. So if that's annoying, let me know what you prefer, because the camera is looking down on me a lot, and my receding hair and stuff. I mean, I could look up to it, but I think that's weird. Oh, Corey Shepard. Which Easter post? Who, Jesus with the Easter Bunny? That hurt your feelings? Come on, man. Are you serious? Yeah, people are so sensitive. I knew it. I knew I was going to hurt somebody's feelings. Well, I'll have to show you what this person's talking about. Corey Shepard. As a Christian, I did not appreciate it. That's cool. As a Christian, I thought it was funny. Like, I actually thought it was hilarious. And I think Jesus probably had a really good sense of humor deep down. But I'll show you the pictures anyway. They are funny. Yeah, I was like, everybody's very sensitive. I think I like to make fun of like everybody. People like it when I make fun of Jewish people. If I make fun of Christians, then people get in their feelings, It's all just a joke. Not everything has to be so serious. I have to adjust my camera. I can't take it. I'm going to play. Hold on one second. I knew it. All right, I'll start the show. Let's go. And then I'll show you the pictures of Jesus and the Easter Bunny. Yeah, all that and more on this Lift the Veil, or whatever it's going to be called next show. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. And I bring you the news, the real news. See how you can overreact to things. This is why it's important to give people forgiveness when they ask for forgiveness or say they're sorry. Because sometimes people are wrong, sometimes people make mistakes, and sometimes people misinterpret things. So, forgive me. You were talking about Trump. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree with that. Especially on Easter, right? I know. I saw Ali, I saw that guy Ali who was like, oh, on Easter, it's like all about peace. And I was going to be like, oh, did you tell Trump? He tweeted, he truthed out the craziest stuff. He truthed out the World War III. And then the other thing that was aimed at the, Marxist Democrats and all of his enemies and stuff. And it was like in all caps. Sorry. Cool. I'm glad you weren't offended by okay, that's good. See, I was paranoid to think people might be offended. Maybe. Nothing offensive about Jesus and the Easter Bunny. That's just funny. Thank you for that. Yeah, I'll show you. I can show you Trump's. Well, there's the World War III tweet. And then I don't know if I shared the other tweet in my Telegram. If you want to support the show, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil and leave a coffee and a note, and I'll read it. Let's see if we can show you guys what's been going on. Yeah, I have to show you the Dalai Lama thing. And we have to find out what this new policy is from YouTube about linking to other places. So, okay, I've been posting more on Telegram. He did the World War III tweet. And then, then there was this tweet. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, this was a crazy tweet. It was offensive. That's okay. Cool. It's cool you were offended by that. I was offended too, but I didn't know if everybody else would be. I'll show you that. Mm-hmm. Oh, did I bring? I was going to bring water. Present, share screen. You guys use Telegram? Oh, that's weird. Look at the number up top. It says 66006. 666. You see that? Okay, anyway. Donald J. I wonder, it's kind of funny actually that he had to be at real Donald Trump on Truth Social, because the reason people did that, that's like, it's almost like a meme. But the reason people did that is because on the old Twitter, people would impersonate you. So there would be like at Donald Trump, which wasn't him. And so people who were the real Donald Trump, some people would say, oh, at real Donald Trump, right? On Twitter, because their handle was taken. That's why they did it, because at Donald Trump was taken. Now he owns Truth Social, so he can choose any handle he wants, but he went with at real Donald Trump. I don't know. Kind of funny. You could have just been Donald Trump. Like people pay people. There's a market for Twitter handles, right? Like people pay. I don't know if it's hackers, but they trade basically, like short Twitter handles. So if you see somebody like at ALX, that guy Alex, whatever, I don't know what he had to pay to get that, or people that have just their first name. It's got to be expensive. But Donald Trump, at real Donald Trump, says, "Happy Easter to all, including those," it's all caps, "including those that dream endlessly of destroying our country because they are incapable of dreaming about anything else. Those that are so incompetent that they don't realize that having a border and a powerful wall is a good thing, and having voter ID, all paper ballots, and same-day voting will quickly end massive voter fraud. And to all those weak, pathetic rhinos, radical left, Democrats, socialists, Marxists, and communists who are killing our nation, remember, we will be back." So, so that's what he said. Pretty exciting. I gotta figure out actually. I'll show this. And so that was his tweet. And then the other tweet was World War III, which I don't know what well, there is something going on in Taiwan. So I wish I could get a good summary of what happened in Taiwan. Something like Chinese ships surrounding Taiwan. There was some kind of, I don't know if that's what he was talking about as far as World War III goes, but there was something going on with China and Taiwan, and eventually something might happen with that. Oh, let me put up my thing. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, we're hanging out at a different time. I will show you these, even though that person wasn't offended. That's cool. I overreacted. I'll show you the apology from Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then you guys tell me. Then we'll find out how Christian people are. Is whether you forgive, whether you're forgiving, whether you forgive Arnold Schwarzenegger or not. So yeah, these are the pictures I made that I was laughing at. But then I posted it like I didn't want to offend people. I just said Jesus posing for a picture with the Easter bunny, and then it gave me this this really hunky Jesus with something that looks like a goat bunny, though. Doesn't look like a bunny, and his arms are kind of screwed up, but that guy. And then this guy's a little creepy. He looks like pretty funny. But yeah, some stuff was closed yesterday. A lot of stuff was open though. I noticed some restaurants were closed, like Chipotle was closed, a few places, but the places that were open were pretty busy. And I guess a lot of people don't celebrate Easter, so what does it matter if they're working? Anyway, that's that. And okay, so World War III, Trump. Let me show you the Dalai Lama. Yeah, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil to support the show. Peapog, you like that one? Fearful title. Yeah, I know. It's not really World War III. It's just a prank. It's a commentary on. It's just a commentary on a commentary about titles and algorithms, is what it is. Because it's all caps and it says World War III. Yeah, people tune in for that. You're proof of it. I know, but I'm not here to promote fear. The opposite of fear. So Dalai Lama, let's see that. And we're and I have you guys have to see. Okay, you guys have to see that. Okay, here we go. I retweeted this one. Okay, here it is. Dalai Lama telling it's so weird. And here are the photos. Okay, there might be video of it with I saw pictures with the boy's face blurred. I guess that's technically what you're supposed to do. I wonder if there's video that's censored so I can do the technically correct thing. Yeah, right. When children don't consent to be in videos, the standard is to blur them out. So we want to do exactly what's correct. Dalai Lama. I wonder if my dream's going to come true about Bitcoin. One of these days. No, it's going to show it. It's not blurred or anything. Well, I'll show it to you. The Dalai Lama clip and then the Budweiser advertising lady clip. Here's the Dalai Lama clip. And then the mass shooting I don't know anything about yet today. Here's the Dalai Lama asking a boy to suck his tongue. That's what it says. Oh, it's kind of unbelievable, right? You're like, oh, what's the last thing you expected to see? So I'll play that.
And suck my tongue.
Wow. So gross. So everybody loved it when he kissed him in the first place, which is already a little super weird. I always thought it was weird when I was a kid. And parents kiss their kids on the lips. Do they still do that? Do parents do that anymore? Like I had a few friends growing up where like their parents would kiss them on the lips. I was like, that's weird, you know? And they acted like it was normal. I don't know if anybody does that anymore though, do they? I mean, I guess maybe there's nothing wrong with that. But like you'd have your grandma, like, did you have like a grandma who tried to kiss you on the lips? You ever have that? I don't know if I did. I can't remember. But I have a thought about it. Like I do remember. Maybe you guys can tell me if people do that anymore. Pete Bogg says it's normal. Dirk Diggler says it's normal. Grandmas do it. Dirk Diggler says I kiss coworkers on the lips too. Okay. All right. Times have changed then. Because when I was a kid, I swear that's it. I had friends. It was like, and also like grandparents would do it. Cool. I'm glad it's not normal anymore. But he just did it. But the weird thing about the clip is that he first kissed him and everybody applauded, right? The first part, everybody thought was totally normal. It's only that he stuck out his tongue that people went crazy. They're like, oh, isn't that sweet? He's kissing a boy on the lips. But as people will say, like, oh, the mainstream media will never cover it. And actually, CNN, I saw a tweet from CNN covering it. So let me see if I can just show that to you to prove it to you. It's funny how replies to CNN are more popular than CNN's tweets. The weird, who created the picture of the Pope with the jacket? Do you guys know? I wish the AI well, it'll be pretty soon. Next generation photo editing software. See, it doesn't know my face. So I need to somehow train it on me and then put me in a poofer jacket. Because I've seen people put Trump in a poofer jacket. But I want a poofer jacket like that. That's cool. He had a big Jesus piece like he's got on. But it was fake. It is weird that people thought it was real. Why did I hear it was real? I don't know why anybody said it was real. Looks good, though. I saw one where Jinx photoshopped earpods into his ears. That was the only difference. which made him look even cooler. The Pope. Okay, let's see if I'm trying to see if any of these tweets go to the CNN tweet so you can see it. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Here's the story. So apparently he apologized. Okay. So it made the mainstream news. People actually care. Sometimes people say, oh, the mainstream news will never cover this or nobody's talking about this. They did cover it, it looks like. And it looks like, this tweet from CNN got 10 million views. So, and there you see the face is blurred out. That's where I got the idea. The Dalai Lama, D-A-L-A-I. I was spelling it D-A-L-I. D-A-L-A-I. Some people say he works for the CIA anyway. He wears a Rolex, I think. Or, I don't know, I've heard. And he met with that pedo or that culty faith healer guy, I think. Or was it the sexual extortion pyramid scheme guy? Rainier, did he meet with Rainier? Dalai Lama apologizes after video asking child to suck his tongue sparks outcry, and they put that in quotes. The Dalai Lama has apologized after a video emerged showing the spiritual leader kissing a child on the lips and then asking him to suck my tongue at an event in northern India. In a statement Monday, the Office for the Dalai Lama said he, quote, wishes to apologize to the boy and his family, as well as his many friends across the world, for the hurt his words may have caused, unquote, adding he regrets the incident. Oh, okay. Didn't I say we have to accept people's apologies? Shoot. Yeah, I don't know about that. This is one where it's kind of like, you would think something like that, or when all the stuff Biden's done, you'd think this stuff would probably be disqualifying forever. You'd be like, oh, you just saw what he's really like. And now he's just going to never show that again. But he's really like that, It says, quote, His Holiness often teases people he meets in an innocent and playful way, even in public and before cameras, unquote. His apology comes after a video of the exchange, which took place during an event in the hillside city of Dharamshala in February. Oh, okay. So this didn't even just happen. This was months ago. Went viral on social media with many users criticizing the Dalai Lama's actions. In the video, the young boy can be seen approaching the Nobel Peace Prize winner before asking, "Can I hug you?" The 87-year-old spiritual leader invites the boy on stage and points to his cheek and says, "First," oh, gross. See, this is how it goes. Really, this is how it goes wrong. Just listen to this. This is crazy. The guy's, and he's 87 too. The 87-year-old spiritual leader then invites the boy on stage and points to his cheek and says, "First here," prompting the boy to give him a hug and a kiss. The Dalai Lama then points to his lips and says, "Then I think finally here also." He then pulls the boy's chin and kisses him on the mouth. "And suck my tongue," he says after a few seconds, poking his tongue out. Now, it sounds worse when you read it, almost. The identity of the boy is not known. He was at an event with the M3M Foundation, the philanthropic arm of Indian real estate company M3M Group. Philanthropic arm. Okay. Based in Dharamsala, where the Dalai Lama lives in permanent exile. He's in permanent exile from Tibet? Is that right? CNN has reached out to the M3M Foundation for comment. In response to the incident, prominent Delhi-based child rights group, HAC, Center for Child's Rights, told CNN in a statement it condemns all forms of child abuse. It added, quote, "Some news refers to Tibetan culture about showing tongue, but this video is certainly not about any cultural expression. And even if it is, such cultural expressions are not acceptable," unquote. The current Dalai Lama is the best known living Buddhist figure in the world. Yeah, I mean, I talked to this guy. Yeah, religion is such a scam. Buddhism is cool, you know? And actually, like, it's possible that Christianity, a lot of themes in Christianity are also themes in Buddhism. That's why some people wonder if Jesus might have learned about Buddhism, because a number of the characteristics of Christianity are similar to Buddhism, and they didn't exist in Judaism or anywhere else. But anyway, that's another story. Anyway, I worked with a guy who said he went to Tibet or something, Thailand, and studied with some guru and everything. And then it turned out the guy was just like all about making money. That's what he said. And he was disillusioned, bailed out on it. Some people say that about the Dalai Lama too. Some people say that he's like CIA. I wonder if the AI knows about any connections to the CIA. But it's so hard. Let's see. I'm asking the AI. I'd say, oh yeah, here we go. Check this out. Oh, here, listen to this. And the AI is really cool sometimes. Okay. So it does tell you stuff. Josh Paulton says the CIA had the Dalai Lama rescued from Tibet when he was young. So here's what it says. Do you know any connection between the Dalai Lama and the CIA? There have been allegations and claims made in the past about a connection between the Dalai Lama and the CIA, but the nature of the relationship is not entirely clear. During the Cold War, the CIA provided support to various groups and individuals who were opposed to communist governments. One of these groups was the Tibetan independence movement, which was led by the Dalai Lama. The CIA reportedly provided the movement with financial and military support, as well as intelligence and training. However, the extent and nature of this support are disputed, and the Dalai Lama has denied any direct involvement with the CIA. In his autobiography, he stated that he had no knowledge of any CIA involvement in the Tibetan independence movement until many years after it had occurred. In his autobiography, that's what he said. Furthermore, some scholars argue that the CIA's involvement in the Tibetan independence movement was limited and that the movement's success was due primarily to its own efforts and the support of other countries. In conclusion, while there have been claims of a connection between the Dalai Lama and the CIA, the nature and extent of this connection remains a matter of debate and controversy, or controversy. Is that what they say? That's what they say in England, right? Controversy or something. Good. Well, that's good. That's helpful. That gave me good background. Yeah, you'd think, right? They just get totally written off for doing something crazy like that. I'll share this. Let's see. Get people tuned in. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you want to support it, that'd be great. I'll show you the Bud Light or the Budweiser product person now. Budweiser product person. I think I have that clip. Here it is. Bud Light VP Alyssa Heinerschneid. It's because it's almost like Heine. That's why it's funny. I have to look her up. Heinerschneid. People are laughing about her. She's got her kids' art up behind her. That's cool. Kids like rainbows. Rainbows are cool. Rainbows now are scary. People are scared of rainbows now. Rainbows. Yeah, there is a difference. Well, to me, there's a difference too. I commented on somebody's thing today. I'll talk about that difference too between advertising to the gays and choosing to advertise with a woman face, imposter instead. But I do want to talk about exactly what these brands did with Dylan Mulvaney, just so it's clear. And it's not to say that what they did wasn't bad, but it's less bad than maybe people think. So I'll explain that to you. I think, unless somebody can correct me on it, but I want to be clear because there might be disinformation about it, or people might have the wrong impression about it, like that they're running ads with Dylan Mulvaney in it for like a national audience. Any of the, I have to see if any of these brands did that, because it's just much more understandable. Except I'll just say, like, I'm not trying to say it, like the backlash is cool. Like, I think it's fair for people to be totally offended, women especially, by Dylan Mulvaney because he does the woman face thing, right? But there is a distinction between them doing promotional TikToks with Dylan Mulvaney, which is, I believe, what all of them did, and doing advertising campaigns with Dylan Mulvaney, pushing him on people who don't follow him already. That's all. It's still bad. I'm just saying, I want to just be clear about what it is. And then, like, even I was fooled by the cans of Bud Light with his face on it. They weren't for sale. And when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this is like insane, right? They weren't ever for sale. So all I'm saying is, if not for Twitter, mostly, and other social media stuff, nobody would have seen maybe any of the ads with Dylan Mulvaney unless they followed him on TikTok or were exposed to him on TikTok. I suppose people could be exposed to it without following him, but really they were promotional. It was like a influencer, promotional thing. As far as I know, and people can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not saying the backlash. I mean, I'm just saying, to me, it is different. It's not, they weren't trying to push Dylan Mulvaney on me. They were just trying to push Bud Light on Dylan Mulvaney's TikTok followers. And it was a mistake. They didn't understand that could backfire on them. But like I said, if it weren't for Twitter and stuff and all the conservatives who shared the ads, like, nobody would ever see it. It's not like they ran a Super Bowl ad with trans people. Okay. And they wouldn't do, and they want, and also, because like I said, I think there's a distinction. Inclusivity for advertising probably makes sense because everybody buys things, right? So for a long time, beer companies have been targeting gay people, since maybe the 80s, because they drink beer, and also there are gay bars. So they want the bars to promote their beers and stuff and think that they're friendly. And they also have, but it was never ads that they showed everybody else to make them gay or anything. It was back when I remember, it would be like, there were like gay newspapers. I can't remember. There was one in DC. I can't remember what it was called, but sometimes I would see them because I was in theater, and so there were gay people around and stuff. So I forget what the one was called, but like Bud would run ads in gay publications for gay people. And they also have ads targeting minorities. So they have ads targeting, Black people, and they have, everybody. So I have no problem with it. Right? It's gay people. Well, first of all, to me, LGB is way different than all the other letters because it's not a choice, in my opinion, most of the time. It's real. You can't change it. You can't decide one day to have a different sexual orientation, right? At least for me, I know I can't decide to suddenly be attracted to the same sex. Just not into it. Right. And I'm exposed to stuff where if I was into it, then I assume it's the same for gay people. Trans is totally, it's like, I mean, I understand some people say it's like, oh, I always knew and all this stuff. I understand. But also, you decide to you make a decision literally, and you could change the decision and go back to being the same thing. So it's different. But anyway, so some people are saying, oh, all these brands are, queer or have been promoting queer stuff forever. And that's true. But for one thing, they haven't been brainwashing everybody else with it. You know what I mean? For the most part, they're not like I said, it's not what they're running in their mainstream ads. They're running it targeted at queer people. And this particular thing was, but that's the other thing is like trans isn't, isn't a group that's worth targeting because there aren't that many of them. And I don't know how much they're going out to bars, and there aren't trans bars and stuff. So it doesn't make as much sense. But Dylan has 11 million. I read an article. Dylan has 11 million TikTok followers. So yeah, like people would pay for, if I had that many followers, everybody would want to pay for me just to sell to the people that follow Dylan, not even to sell to anybody else at all. So, I mean, anyway, that's what they were thinking. So Susan Wojcicki says gays drink vodka. Yeah, right. There are certain drinks. Forrest C. Do you think so? You think one day I might be gay? No. Makes things, it's possible. Let's see. No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Most of the people, it doesn't seem like it. Although, I don't know. You can choose whether to act. You can definitely choose whether to act gay, but you can't choose like what you're into. I don't think it's like the same as being into feet or other, kind of perversions, or if you're into, Asians or something. I don't know. It's just like the way you are. Anyway, so I just wanted to say that because just so it's clear, like they weren't, all these brands were just using Dylan's audience because he has so many followers, basically. So, and who knows how much they really paid him. Like they might have gotten their money's worth too. Because if you have 11 million followers and you advertise something, a bunch of them are going to buy it. I guess that's what they were thinking. So didn't work. Like they didn't understand. People don't like the woman face thing. So Siggy goes, those are perversions or fetishes. Yeah, I don't know. All I'm saying is different people are into different things. Maybe it's not correct. Maybe I shouldn't compare being into feet with sexual preference. I probably shouldn't. It's not the same. Sexual preference is one thing. Being into feet is a different thing. But as far as I'm concerned, LGB, cool. And actually, and I saw this thing where this trans person, posted that they said 80 to 90% of the trans people they know are Christian. I gotta show you this because I have a theory about it. So I'll show you that too. Make sure to support the show. Make sure to support the stream while you're here. You know how to do it. Okay, so I'll show you this clip anyway. People really making fun of this lady. What was I gonna say? Hold on. What was I gonna talk about after that? I just said something. Forrest is funny. Yeah, I don't think that's true, Forrest. Unless it's true for you, unless you think that's what made you gay, then that's possible. But I've heard lots of stories. Now, people will tell you, they'll be like, oh, my brother's gay or whatever. Same family and stuff. I mean, yeah, a lot of families have that. It's not. Just kind of seems like it kind of happens. But that's not to say some people. I think it's possibly because of abuse too. In some cases, I do. I mean, it's possible. But even in that case, I'm not sure it's a choice, or if it's even in that case, I'm not sure if it's a choice. I'm not sure. Maybe they just got wired that way somehow because of the abuse. So, but I do think it's possible. Some women, I will say this, some lesbians, I believe, because women have a lower sex drive in general. So they don't have as much, so some lesbians, I believe this is definitely true. They do it because they had bad experiences with men and they just hate men and they're just done with it and they'd rather be with a woman. And it's like, they're like, yeah. And they're just willing to go with it, kind of. I do believe that. And so I think that's a thing. I think that doesn't happen as much with probably gay guys though. But and then it might happen the other way too, where some women are actually gay, but just go along to get along because, like I said, again, they don't have like a super strong sexual attraction, so they're like, whatever, I'll just be straight or whatever. Just a theory, I don't know. So this is I was gonna look this person up, see where she went to school. Alyssa Heinerschneid, talking about what they're going to do to get more beer drinkers.
I'm a businesswoman. I had a really clear job to do when I took over Bud Light. And it was, this brand is in decline. It's been in decline for a really long time. And if we do not attract young drinkers to come and drink this brand, there will be no future for Bud Light. So I had this super clear mandate. It's like, we need to evolve and elevate this incredibly iconic brand. And what I brought to that was a belief in, okay, what does evolve and elevate mean? It means inclusivity. It means shifting the tone. It means having a campaign that's truly inclusive and feels lighter and brighter and different and appeals to women and to men. And representation is at sort of the heart of evolution. You've got to see people who reflect you in the work. And we had this hangover. I mean, Bud Light had been kind of a brand of fratty, kind of out of touch humor. And it was really important that we had another approach.
Oh, that's it. There you go. Alyssa Heinerschneid. So that's what she said. We need to be more inclusive. Let's see if I can let's see what the latest Heinerschneid. There we go. Oops. Alyssa Heinerschneid. All right. So there are stories about her. Fratty and out of touch is what she called it. And actually, so she basically is saying the brand is in decline. It is possible that frat culture isn't current with, makes sense. Frat culture is kind of like misogynistic, or I mean, it was, at least when I went to school, it's guys and you get a keg, get the hot girls to come over. I mean, but it's frat culture. So kids maybe are different now. They're a lot gayer, I guess. I don't know. Or a lot. I'm not sure. But so it could be like, it sounds like the brand wasn't doing that well. And once again, being there, I don't think once again, inclusivity, as far as like advertising, selling things, you want to be inclusive. But that means but that also means being inclusive to conservatives. So that run an ad campaign direct. See, that's what they're afraid to do, though. That's what they couldn't possibly do, So, because if I'm saying like, oh yeah, they run ads targeted at gays, they run ads targeted at blacks, they run ads targeted at Hispanics. They do. They have ads, that are targeted towards that audience, that run on those channels and stuff. That ads in Spanish language ads, whatever that we never see because they're not for white people. So that, that I understand, but why not run it for conservatives? And I think it's because if they targeted conservatives, then people would say, oh, it's, you guys are right wing or something. They'd get a backlash. Somebody would say, oh, let's boycott. If they targeted conservatives, even though conservatives have been cool, because all this time they've been advertising to gays and conservatives didn't care. Nobody gave them a hard time because they weren't pushing it in their face. I mean, that's the truth. Like, if people were drinking beers and some people are saying, oh, like, be consistent. That's the tweet I saw today from like High Impact Flex. I think it was Kid Rock drinking a Coors. And High Impact Flex is like, oh, be consistent. They have all this rainbow stuff. But if you never see it, that's the thing about all the ads. They've been advertising to queer people forever, but we haven't, it's on our face, until recently. But mostly they're like, okay, queer ads for queer people. No, it's only recently that they went into this thing where they're trying to push fringe, basically themes on a mainstream audience to like normalize fringe behavior and beliefs. So anyway, a bunch of stories about Heiner Schneid. Let's check her out. Fratty out of touch. Yeah, it'd be fun though, is if you think you're creative and stuff, write a commercial. If you think you're smarter than, oh, she went to Wharton. Okay. These people are geniuses, supposedly. I knew it was going to be someplace. That's where Trump went to business school, the Wharton School. So she's some kind of super, basically elite type of person. She's been the VP of Bud Light, for only 10 months. And this is what happened under her watch. And then before that, she did a bunch of other stuff with Bud Light. She worked for Johnson & Johnson, Listerine, Yellow Box Cheerios. Oh, and she went to Harvard. Yeah. Just shows you. I mean, I'm serious. This is it. Like, just look at the people in charge of these places. They all went to these elite institutions. That's where they get them from. She went to Harvard and Wharton. And so theoretically, she's some kind of genius. I mean, they must learn all the same things at these places. I mean, Ron DeSantis went to Harvard too. And I don't know. I just knew. I was just like, when I saw the clip, I thought, oh, I bet she went to Harvard. How do I know? Harvard and Wharton. So, yep, that's the kind of genius these schools are putting out. Oh man, I had something else important I was going to tell you, but I can't remember. Badman Elite said, heard you can pay to get into those places now. I do have a commentary on it because it is in the news about how getting into these schools, about race-based. I do have a commentary about it. Jimmy, we are not going to mention. We're not going to mention that about Alyssa Heinerscheid. Yes, she has something else in common with a lot of people who are in high positions. That's true too. Yeah, that's true too. So that was what What was I gonna show you? Did you know Spuds McKenzie was a girl? Oh, there was this thing. Yeah, people were like, "Oh, bring back Spuds McKenzie." Apparently, it was a girl. Some people were saying, "I wonder if there's old Spud McKenzie commercials." So you could see like what real beer ads used to be like. Classic beer ad. Let's see. Spud McKenzie beer ad. Let's see. 80s commercial. Here we go. Check it out. Like, this is it. He was a huge star, Spud. Oh, but it turns out it was a girl. No, that's what people are saying. They're like, did you know that Spud McKenzie was trans? That's what people are saying. I'll show you let's see. We can watch a commercial. Do you think no, there's no way. These aren't going to be, these are like super old. Let's see. This is what an old commercial is like.
Check him out. What a hug.
Get a load of him.
Well, there's a super party animal. His name is Buzz McKenzie. With a beach in sight and a cold Bud Light, he's in the party frenzy.
He's Spuds McKenzie. What party-loving, happening dude.
Go, Spuds, go, Spuds, go.
Bye, Spuds. Call me.
Go, Spuds, go.
Who's that? The life of the party, that's who.
There's a super party animal. His name is Spuds McKenzie. When the sun shines bright on a cold Bud Light, he's in a party frenzy.
He's Spuds McKenzie, the posh pooch of pop culture.
Go, Spuds, go.
Spuds, you're an animal.
Go, Spuds, go.
There he is. What a happening dude.
There's a super party animal.
Yeah.
His name is Spuds McKenzie. A barbecue inside.
A barbecue.
And a cold Bud Light.
A cold Bud Light.
Puts him in a party frenzy.
And a party frenzy.
He's Spuds McKenzie, Bud Light's original party animal.
Go, Spuds, go. Go, Spuds, go.
Go, Spuds, go.
Spuds, you really cooking that.
All right.
Oh, he's playing the drums too. Oh, apparently it was a girl. Oh, they said, I read an article about it. That was just saying, oh, did you know, like, beards have always been queer. And by the way, Spuds was trans. Well, I doubt the dog identified as male. It was really a cross-dresser. But even those outfits work. Kind of, you go either way with the gender. It's funny. I wonder if I can find any gay ads. Gay beer ad. Just to see. They're always going to advertise to gays, man. When I sold cars, gays were my favorite customers. Is there plenty of money, good credit, nice. We didn't like totally like nickel and dime you to death. Oh, that's funny. SNL. I wonder if I can show. I can't show SNL for sure. I can't show SNL. Then there was this. And then here's all the videos about a huge backlash. And the headline says, Tim Pool says, this is disgusting. But here, take a look at this. Bud Light marketing campaign places gender identities on beer cans. See, this is where it crosses the line to me. Is like, advertise your gay stuff for, gays, and like leave the rest of us, to our misogynistic beer, where we're like, oh yeah, hot chicks. It looks like SNL. That's probably a good clip. That's probably pretty funny. Schmidt's gay. I don't remember that clip. A commercial parody helps two guys. That's funny. It sounds funny, but I can't show it because SNL will nail me. All right. Here we go. Okay. So anyway, that's the news. That's the gay news. That's the trans. That's a little bit of the trans news. Okay. I do want to mention this. Especially on Easter. Oh, how weird is that? Is Arnold Schwarzenegger apologized for saying "screw your freedom." I'm gonna run a poll, see how people feel. And this is the tweet by Space Pirate, which I think had a ton of views. This is the mainstream commentary on it. Arnold Schwarzenegger issued a public apology. It says, actually, let me just search it because it's from a random. Man, his name is hard. Arnold Schwarzenegger apology. Okay. Arnold Schwarzenegger apologizes for controversial. Oh, it's weird that that's not on any. Oh, entertainment. Oh, no. There's no mainstream stories about it. Entertainment Tonight is him apologizing for being sexist before. But strangely enough, it's all these like random, Generation Iron. How can I even believe that for sure? Oh, it was a social media. Let me see the official story. I want to verify this stuff. Arnold Schwarzenegger apologized for saying "screw your freedom" in a social media post. Where is this? Oh, here. Oh, well, it's weird that nobody shared his original tweet. Oh, here we go. So this was the tweet people are referring to. Oh, weird that everybody just shared the headline. And then they were like, no, absolutely not. I'll never forgive you. I'm not showing Christian values. Now, this is why I wonder if people are really Christian. Because they're so not consistent sometimes. But I don't know if these people who don't forgive him claim to be Christian or anything. Just seems to me the value is to forgive for people who apologize, even like especially if they were wrong. Seems to me like that's the way to make friends. But here's what he says. So Shane Hunter said, I wasn't a fan of that stance either, but like family members who went there and friends, I understand it. They were afraid and believed they could trust the authorities who claimed they had the best interest at heart. A hard but valuable lesson for the world. Arnold said, I want to thank you for your open-mindedness. I think we should be able to disagree without being enemies. Here's what I'll say. I'm sorry for saying those words. I try to be relentlessly positive, but sometimes my mouth gets ahead of me. I should have communicated better. Okay. Well, I only saw the headline. I didn't see the tweet. I should have communicated better is a little different than saying I was wrong, actually. But it's still a good start. And sometimes I wonder, like, what results people want. That's all. When people say, "Oh no, never," that's what I saw mostly people say. Space Pirate says, another washed up celebrity expects us to let their past transgressions against us slide. We will not forgive, and we most certainly will not forget. But I think, first of all, washed up celebrity, I don't know, if he was trying to be a movie star still, like he was governor of California, and he's probably just chilling, Not sure. Washed up. I'm not sure. He kind of accomplished a lot of things and doesn't do it anymore. But if you don't need to, then I don't know. Is he still trying to be a movie star and he can't get any parts? I'm not sure. So I said, your worst opponents can become your strongest allies. I practice forgiveness. Like, there are people in my life, like, who gang stalked me, who are now friends of mine, because I think probably Sun Tzu said something about, I think there's something about that in The Art of War, right? They say keep your enemies close, right? I don't know. There's something about it. Like, once you've seen the dark side of somebody and you know what they're capable of, there's something about just like making up with them, because then it's like you know them, like you've gone through something together. I don't know, but to me, fuck it, man. If he says he's sorry, that's great. What do I want? I don't know. What do people want? You want him to say, what would you rather he said? Like, oh no, I'm not sorry. Because then your reaction would be this. Like, is your reaction going to be the same if he says he's sorry and whether he says he's not sorry? If he says he's sorry, isn't that good? I don't know. I just got to ask you guys. Will says, how do you know he is truly sorry? Well, I don't know. I don't know. It's better. I don't know. It's better. I'm not sure, man. I like it when people apologize. I can tell you, sir, women don't apologize. I don't think, at least it's my experience. I don't know if I've ever experienced it. And it's like, to me, I'd be like, oh, like, wouldn't it be nice? Once in a while. Just never experienced my whole life. And I've been wrong about things and apologized. And I would like it if people forgive me, because I've been wrong about things before. That's all. Like, I made fun of people about masks. I did. I made fun of people, made fun of Owen Benjamin. And looking back, I was incorrect. So, like, I want people to forgive me because I'm genuinely sorry. So, forgive me for trying to think the best of people and thinking like it's better that he said that he's sorry for saying those words than if he hadn't said anything. So, all right, I'm going to check. We're like halfway through the broadcast. I'll run a poll. I'm sharing out this. I'll run a poll. Do you forgive Arnold? Yeah, he was governor. I worked a car show where he came with his security and stuff. I met him. When he was looking at, I was at a car show with the Maseratis and stuff. And he came and sat in the cars and I showed him around. He was cool. Walking around with his security were wearing Hawaiian shirts that hung over their firearms. But I think might be a picture of me with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, I think there maybe is. And the only problem was I was kind of fat. That's the problem. All right, let's see. I'm going to check to see if I got any coffees. If I didn't, maybe I'll just quit. Maybe I'll just give up. No, let's see. I didn't see any super chats yet. I'm on Rockfin. Let me see how Rockfin's doing. Oh, cool. Great. Duluth Hap, thanks for the tip. Okay, cool. Only 14. Yeah, Rockfin people don't know I'm live. Yeah, Rockfin is trouble. Rockfin just must not send out notifications. Thanks, Hogan Filter, for the tip. Thanks, Duluth Hat, for the tip, who says, Jesus is my King and Savior. Cool. That's a good message for the holidays. Bushidoki says, no, he needs to say a video. Violet Lotus says, okay. Well, I have unpopular opinions. I mean, I might name my show like Unpopular Opinions. Do you want another one? I have another unpopular opinion. I'll tell you, which came to me yesterday. Let's see if people know to give me coffees. I'm checking. Thanks, Rip the Veil. I think that's a new one. It says long live LTV. One coffee so far. Okay. Okay. Well, we'll try to hold it together. Let's see if we can do. Let's see how we can do before the end of the show. See if people drop a few more. Thanks. Thanks. Rip the Veil. Appreciate it. You like that, Eon Will? Unpopular opinions. I mean, that's how I feel. I'm like, so I have this opinion about school. Okay. So there's a controversy. I left a long reply to this guy because it kind of like dawned on me yesterday. So this is what I was talking about. Is High Impact Flicks said, just be consistent to Kid Rock, who is drinking Coors Light, even though they're refreshingly proud. Once again, it's changed because the TQ got hooked up with the LGB. That's all. So this is I said, okay. Are these my replies? Did I delete my long reply to this one guy? Europe is wrong. Oh, and I had a DoorDash. I do have some DoorDash commentary too. Only because there was an article. Okay, well, check this out. Okay. Oh, this is an unpopular opinion. Well, it only got 11 views, so that's good. This is a crazy unpopular opinion. Thanks, Susan Wojcicki, for that, who says, say the bird which is the bald eagle, please. What did you just make me say? Something messed up? I was trying to figure out what you just made me say, Susan. Thanks for the £2. Thanks for the £2. Appreciate it. This is crazy unpopular. So anyway, this person is a trans person who's defending trans people. And then they said, I should add that the vast majority of the trans people I know are Christians, at least 80 to 90% of them. So what do you guys think about that? So I have a theory about it. I mean, I made a meme about it, which is that the thing that Christians and trans activists have in common is they say that, in this case, I wrote boys don't wear dresses, right? Is they're like, oh, if you wear a dress, you're not a boy or something. Or also there, or I could have said homophobia. homophobia causes trans in at least some cases. That's the other thing about it. Okay. So as far as I know, people are like, oh, you're gay and stuff. Homophobia causes trans. And I don't think and I think just trans is hard. Like, I don't think it ends up well. And like statistically, the results aren't that good. The results are better. People are happier on average being gay than being trans. On average, I'm sure they'll say, okay, well, but on average, gay people are happier than trans people. And some people become trans because they don't want to be gay. All right. So that's all I'm trying to say is, so this person says, I should add that the vast majority of trans people I know are Christians. I wonder why that is. That's all. Because if the Christians are like Mormons become trans and stuff, it's why they become trans in Iran, is because you're not allowed to be gay. So people become trans instead. But that happens, more than you think. So anyway, that was just my theory on that. So that's another unpopular opinion. But genuinely, like, people say it too. They're like, "Oh, I didn't want to be gay." And then you're like, "Well, that's fucked up." So you became. Said you're a woman. Like, why did you do that? Like, what's wrong? You know what I mean? You really thought. You know what I mean? So like that happens for real. So I did think that was interesting. The vast majority of trans people I know are Christians, at least 80 to 90% of them. You would think, but because the really crazy thing about that is, if you think about it, like, in order to become trans, it's almost like you can't believe in God, because if you believe in God, then you believe that you're the way you're supposed to be. I thought. That's just really, it's so like, that's why people's beliefs are I don't believe people's, like, you're not Christian, like, you don't even believe in God. If you don't believe you are, like, what are you saying? God made a mistake? Like, that's what you're saying, right? You're like, oh yeah, God fucked up. I was supposed to be a girl. So now I need to get a hatchet vagina. Because that's what, I don't know. Can you look at it any different? But no, they're Christian. I don't even understand what God do you believe in that, So anyway, it's just, so that's another unpopular opinion, which is that Christianity causes trans. What do you think of that? Christianity causes trans. Homophobia causes trans. So be careful. That's one popular opinion down. All right. I'm expecting to be well compensated for these unpopular opinions. That's one unpopular opinion down. And Nuckfugget says, Chappelle said they wanted him to wear a dress. Yeah, people say that. That's like a rite of passage, like the black, especially like black comedians, like they have to do a thing where they dress up as a woman. And that guy Tyler Perry, his biggest character is like Big Mama's House. I know. Yeah, nobody's brought up Big Mama's House. Wonder why that is. Everybody brings up Miss Doubtfire. But Big Mama's House is a big, and everybody loves Tyler Perry. Is that his name? Or Perry Tyler Perry is the 90210 guy. What's his name? Thanks, TFC Jedi. Oh man, you're so cool. Thanks, man. If you like the more you like them, the more you can hit up that coffee link. Okay. Then this is my next unpopular opinion. Okay. But I really think I'm onto something here. So I'm going to look up Harvard and the top tweet about Harvard. Okay. Ben Shapiro's tweeting about it. Ben Shapiro's tweeting about it because David Hogg went to Harvard. The Rabbit Hole is tweeting about it. This is the tweet I was looking at. Okay. A lot of people are talking about this. Elite school admissions. Okay. I have an opinion that I'm just developing. So hear me out. This is from the Rabbit Hole. It says SAT scores for Harvard student body. Asian students at Harvard noticeably outperformed their peers. Okay. And it shows the average SAT score by race. And it shows that Asians are the smartest or get the highest scores. Whites are next, but they're significantly lower and relatively steady over time. And then significantly below that, well, actually about the same distance down is Hispanic and Native, which have been kind of rising, which is encouraging, actually. It's encouraging that the gaps from the lower end are actually rising. That's a good sign, that whatever the, if Black people start scoring higher on the SAT, like that's the ideal scenario. Black people, Hispanics and stuff. That's the ideal scenario, I would think, so that everybody performs better. But in any case, the point of this guy, the Rabbit Hole, has been posting this. And there's a lot of stuff about this. And so is that it's not fair. Harvard, Yale, I'm pretty sure all the elite private schools use race-based incentives for admission. Which, and when I say incentive, I just mean that, like, if you're Black or Hispanic, that you get incentivized. You'll get in with a lower score than a white person or definitely an Asian person. So I've seen charts that say Blacks get like a 300-point SAT advantage. So the same Black applicant versus a white applicant, the Black person gets a huge advantage, with a lower score. Okay. So people say it's racist, which, okay, it is. Like, it is. It's like affirmative action, basically. So, Jimmy Berman says, hold on, let me see this. I'll get back to that. Jimmy Berman says, my most unpopular opinion by far was about pornography. What, that you shouldn't ban it? What are you, retarded? How is that, like, banning pornography is a fringe belief. It's true that my followers think that's reasonable, but banning pornography is a fringe belief. It's like what Nick Fuentes says. So maybe it was unpopular with my listeners, but it's just a standard libertarian position. It's free speech. That's it. People fuck if they can choose to fuck on camera. There's nothing you can do about it. Yes, coercion, child pornography, things that are illegal. But so anyway. So now let's see if, I don't know if that was my most, I must have had something worse than that. Probably Trump, man. No, coronavirus by far. Like, you're not even close. Coronavirus, I lost half my audience. Lost another half during the election. I try to lose more every day. So I'm working on it now. No, but coronavirus was way, way more controversial because I was way closer to actually being wrong. Pornography, though, I mean, it is fringe. Like, don't be fooled into thinking like it's people. That's not a fringe belief. Okay, so back to this. So this is where we're at. This is what these schools do. It's racist. I went to what's currently rated the #1 high school in the country. It's a public school. It was completely merit-based up until, I don't know, it was like last year or the year before. It's called Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology. It's in the news. There's a lady who has spoken out about it, who's been on shows and stuff, who had a kid who was going to that school. And they said they were teaching like critical race theory stuff there. And yeah, so it's changed, right? But it was strictly merit-based. Public school, you take a test that was like the SAT, or like a mix between like the SAT and an IQ test. And that was I think that was like the main factor. And then grades and stuff too. So it's probably the most competitive. It might be the most competitive school in the country because the public school, people come in from other counties to go there and stuff. Anyway, over time, the school, when I went there were 4 black kids in my class, if I remember correctly, out of 400, and not too many Hispanics. Healthy population of white people, which is mostly like the community. I mean, it reflected the community as far as white people and stuff went, and a lot of Asians. Over time, it became, and this is a place that was completely merit-based. It became more Asian over time to where Asians outnumbered white people, which is not reflective of the community at large, and still very, very few Black and Hispanic students. So they changed it recently where now there's no more test to let in Black and Hispanic students. That was the only way they could figure out how to do it. So I thought that, I was like, oh, that's messed up. They would be taking away spots from someone like me. So I thought, okay, well, looking out for my own self-interest, that sounds like the kind of thing that would take away spots from someone like me. Same with Harvard. I could have gone to Harvard. You don't have to believe me, but I had perfect SAT scores, perfect PSAT scores, 4.0 grade point average, the best school in the country, and I wrote a good essay. So I got into Stanford, Duke, UVA, UCLA, everywhere I applied. Could have gone to Harvard or Yale. I still think with my qualifications, I think I would still get in. Now, if, this is all I'm thinking, if they go to strictly merit-based admissions at Harvard and Yale and stuff, they will, it will become almost all Asians, probably. That's what I was thinking. Because I just think they work harder, honestly, than white people, and they must have some kind of like natural advantage, right? They test higher on IQ tests, but then they study for IQ tests. They win all the it's like Indian kids win all the spelling bees, like Scrabble and stuff. And they all end up being doctors and stuff there. You have to work hard. So I used to teach SATs after college. I taught SATs. And at the time, the test, they were trying to adjust the test to see if Black people could score higher. Like if it was because the questions were racist or something. At the time, I was working for Kaplan Test Prep. I taught SATs. I taught graduate tests too, but and then I ended up doing sales for them. But at the time, they were trying to rewrite the questions to make it so that Black people would score better. They were like, what the hell? No matter what you do, and this it's just true. I know this because I taught the test. I know internally, no matter what you do, no matter how inclusive you make the questions, no matter how much like you rename the characters or add woke themes to it, no matter what they were able to do to the test, they couldn't make it. They couldn't create equity. Black people just don't score as well on the test. That's it. The same with IQ test. Okay. Now, and same with Hispanics and stuff. I mean, Asians score the highest. Jews score super high too. Jews are mostly considered whites, so they benefit from whatever we benefit from, and then they have their own thing. But Jews and Asians have higher IQs than white people on average. So all I'm saying is, if everything was strictly merit-based, I don't know if white people would be any better off. And in fact, like, we maybe shouldn't complain so much, because it's possible that we'd be worse off because we're not the top of the totem pole. So from a white person's self-interest perspective, I started realizing that maybe we shouldn't make such a big deal out of for school admissions, okay, which is a little different than other stuff. Because IQ isn't everything. You know what I mean? Like the Black guy I went to high school with that I stay in touch with, he didn't have as high SAT scores as me. His IQ isn't as high as mine. But he went to Harvard Business School and he's super successful and like way smarter than me in a bunch of other areas. I went to school with a bunch of people who had, didn't score as high, that were smarter objectively in a bunch of different ways. And smart people can totally be wrong. And then the other thing is Harvard and Yale, like, that's where people go who end up being influential. So anyway, it's super unpopular opinion, but I just thought about it more, and I was like, oh crap, like, we're not the smartest. So maybe we shouldn't say that. Yeah, maybe we should just chill out on the whole thing, because I just think Asians will work harder to hit the metrics and they'll just dominate the schools and maybe even push out white people worse than if the equity standards are there. Because in reality, what happens is, like, I think what happened at my high school was is the student body per population became less Asian, more Black and Hispanic, but about the same amount of white people. So anyway, I'm developing it. I can't say, I don't know 100%. I know there was like a story about this white kid. It was like, I don't know, perfect, like vice president, 4.0 GPA, perfect test scores, didn't get into any of the elite schools. So that wasn't my experience, but that was back in 1996. So maybe if I was applying now, maybe if I was the same person trying to apply to schools now, it would be rigged against me. I'm not sure. I don't know. But anyway, I was just saying, be careful what you wish for. That's all. Just in case, just because, just because, like, Asians are, like, they work harder and they do better at tests, whether we like it or not. All right, cool. That was an unpopular opinion. I wonder if anybody gave me some coffees for that. What else can I send? What else can I tell you guys? I can tell you guys about my YouTube beef with Derek Bros. Let's see. I haven't even gone over that much, but who? Nick Fuentes? No, Nick Fuentes didn't go there. Nick Fluential? Do you want to see the leaked Nick Fuentes texts? There's texts leaked between Milo and Nick Fuentes. Where Milo is telling Nick Fuentes that he's a loser, kind of like he's not doing a good job. Did you guys see that? I shared that on Telegram. Okay, it is controversial, so I appreciate your responses. Jeff Kress says, in a free and just society. Free and just. Well, okay. Here's the other argument. They're private schools. Okay, they can do whatever they like. Just from a libertarian perspective, they are private schools. And they can do whatever they want. They can admit whoever they want based on whatever standards they choose. And if a school wants to only admit women, they can choose to do that. If they're a private school, if they want to only admit black people, like if it's a private school, then they're allowed to do that too. So just from the perspective of, there's no argument that a libertarian can make against a private school choosing its student body makeup. All right. So it's their choice. If Yale wants more black kids, if Harvard wants more black kids, and they have to lower their standards to do that, that's up to them. Because of what I know about like how IQ scores and SAT scores work, and also that they're not totally predictive of everything. And also there's just different advantages. I mean, you can probably study for the IQ test. I used to teach for the SAT, and there weren't any like black kids there. If you take a class for the SAT, it makes it easier. I didn't do it when I didn't take a class when I was in high school and stuff. But then once I started teaching it, I was like, oh, wow, this would have made it a lot easier. Even though I was able to do it, it does, like, you can prepare for these tests. And so in a certain sense, that's not totally fair, because because the class costs, I don't know, back when I was teaching, it was $1,000 or something. I'm sure it's a lot more now. But it was wealthy kids mostly who got the prep, and Asian families. It's the stereotype is true. Asian families will make their kids work harder, and they'll make them take the practice test. They'll make them, so that they can get to the good schools and stuff. That's all I was thinking, is like, in a way, it almost isn't totally fair, is all I was thinking, because people have different advantages. Like, white people can work harder and may have other advantages, like I said, being able to take prep classes, like having parents that are engaged, just having parents that are engaged. Like, most, I think probably the black kids that were in my class had like good family situations, coincidentally too, so I know it's kind of, it maybe is a little liberal, but I was just saying, kind of be careful what you wish for. That's all. Then you can read the Fuentes thing. Maybe I'll take some calls. I've already been streaming for 2 hours. I've been streaming for 2 hours so far. The experiment So far, let's see. Rip the Veil got a coffee. I got a couple tips. We got a few more people tuned in on. But it's been 2 hours, so I can take calls and then maybe go over some of the other news while we wait for calls. No, that's cool, Duluth. You don't have to give me coffees. You tip on Rockfin. So it's cool. Thanks, Reiner N. Rautenberg. Oh, wow. Thanks for that. That's cool. Thanks, man. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Thanks, Reiner N. Rautenberg. Appreciate it. Yeah. I'm not trying to be famous. I'm not and maybe that's the biggest difference. I just got tired of always not saying what I think. That's all, because it's unpopular. So I might tell you some of the things I think which are unpopular, but which I really think. All right, thanks for the coffees. I appreciate it. Maybe I'll take some calls. Let's see what people are thinking. Like longer streams. Like, what else do you want? Yeah, longer stream during the day. Hopefully you guys are having fun. Oh yeah, I was gonna make a meme. Like, I was gonna make a meme called that says here, this is what I was gonna do. I'm gonna make it right now. Yeah, and then I was thinking about something else too. I was thinking about maybe dragging people over to Rockfin. Let me read what the 650-429-8294 new YouTube policy link. Let's see. External links policy. Is this new? As of May. Let me see. I'll put the phone number up. The video, let me see if this, I don't know when this is. YouTube's rules for external linking as of May. What May though? May 2020. I don't know when this article is from. Oh. I don't know if that matters. What was the quartering talking about? New YouTube policy. Rumble. Let's see. Money on Rumble. Oh, there's somebody who actually has a video about it. How to make money with Rumble for beginners. Oh, I don't know how to do that. But I could thing about Rumble is they just promote the people they have deals with, you know. They don't have a good algorithm for discovering content. So I don't know if it's good. I have a thing about it. I have a thing where if people don't like me and they don't show me that they like me, I'm like, oh, screw you. So Rumble, I post my videos, but nobody sees them. I could if I went live, but when I went live, which is annoying. And then the other thing is the YouTube platform is the best platform. That's the other thing. It's actually the best platform, like long and far away compared to every other platform. You can call in if you want, 650-429-8294. Joe Biden announced he's running. That's cool. Brian Amazing says, not a huge fan of Rockfin. Yeah. It was there. It's there because they don't censor. So if you did material that was going to get censored, then Rockfin is cool. I was on there for I was like the main place I was doing stuff. People were giving me tips. I wasn't even on YouTube. I went on YouTube because I had to try to figure something out. But long story short, life doesn't always work out the way you expect it to. And here we are. But we're still on YouTube. We have another job we do in the afternoon. You gotta try that out today. Maybe it'll work out. Yeah, I mean, to think I already did 2 hours of content before noon, that's pretty good. Usually I only do an hour and a half. Jimmy Berman says, you look the best on YouTube. Victoria Pandora says, Rumble removed Hoaxie's Friday show. I wonder why. Oh, that's nice, Susan. That's nice to say that. I appreciate it. Anybody want to call in? I'll post the number. I can show you my argument with Derek Bros. It was kind of funny. I ended up apologizing. But basically the argument was, we got into this thing about Tulsi Gabbard, right? I'm frustrated with some things. Sometimes I think people are too quick to dismiss people that aren't perfect, but are pretty good. Like, there's a whole group of people, and they're people I know. But it's this like, it's this, what do you call it? Alternative kind of left. But it's like Last American Vagabond, Derek Bros. What's her name? Who's the famous one? Who wrote the Epstein book? You guys will tell me. I don't mean to forget her name. I mean, what? It's right there. The girl, she wrote the Epstein book. She's like famous. She was on Joe Rogan. You guys will tell me. Those guys, and then and they're all like, screw Elon Musk. Like, Elon Musk taking over Twitter is bad. We're going to ignore everything Elon Musk does. We're going to ignore the Twitter files because it's like, it must be controlled opposition. Like, it's not real. They don't really leak the stuff and all this. Okay. And maybe even attack sometimes Taibbi and stuff. Yeah. Whitney Webb. Thank you. Whitney Webb. So there's this there's this group of alternative left people. And I even saw him do a meetup where and Corbett was in there, Corbett Report. And they did this thing where they literally all agreed that it was bad that Elon Musk was taking over Twitter, and that the Twitter files, I think it was about how the Twitter files were therefore not worthwhile. And they set up a panel where they all agreed so much that Corbett had to pretend he didn't agree just to make a devil's advocate position. And meanwhile, I was like, okay, but there are some people who genuinely, like, it could have actually had somebody on the panel who genuinely. So anyway, stuff like that. Same with Tulsi Gabbard, same with Elon Musk, same with a million things. Actually, I think so it's just a way people think is they'll focus on something. They'll just pick something out. Like they want to, I think people just want to hate. Like, people want to be haters. That's it. That's what I've learned in my life. Like, people want, if someone wants to be a hater, they'll pick something. Doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't matter. Like, this person on Twitter was like, oh, well, like, you faked going to London. This person told me on Twitter, this is a story. This guy was like, oh, you faked going to London and Photoshop pictures of yourself going to London. I show you the interactions. Like, people do it with me, right? So where they're like, oh yeah, we can't trust him because of this or because of that, right? So this guy was like, oh, like, you faked going to London. So I was messing with him. I was like, oh, you mean like this picture? I showed him. I can show you guys the picture. Let's see. Housing market crash. I got to look at the Bitcoin chart too. Oh, there's a Substack thing. There's the guy getting pardoned in Texas. I can show you guys my deep fakes, which I made during the meme lab the other day. The deep fakes are pretty good. So anyway, what I think, it's the same with DeSantis too. DeSantis, Trump, Biden, same, pretty much the same attitude, which is like, oh, we're going to find out, we're just going to pick something we don't like about him and then just write him off. And that's what people did with the Twitter files. This particular group of people, this they did with the Twitter files. They were like, oh, we're just going to ignore that. It's like limited hangout. In my opinion, I was like, okay, maybe we're not getting all the information, and maybe it's not a WikiLeaks style dump, but we still got really important information that ended up having like a Senate hearing, and then all these journalists seem to be on a watch list, and the government's going after them and stuff. It just seems like kind of crazy that you don't defend those people when it seems like they're doing good work. And Elon Musk taking over Twitter, if Elon Musk hadn't taken over Twitter, the trans stuff, like half of everything I see on Twitter would be banned under the old Twitter. I feel like people have a short memory too. It's like people don't remember how bad Twitter was already. So they're just complaining about, it's so much better than it was. You can say so much more stuff. The trans stuff in particular, like Elon Musk bought Twitter because of a trans, what they call a transphobic tweet, right? The Babylon Bee saying Rachel Levine was Man of the Year. That got censored, and Elon Musk bought Twitter. So it was specifically about crazy gender stuff. And now this transgender debate is a really big deal, and a lot of it happens on Twitter. And half of the tweets I see every day would have been banned before under the old Twitter. So yeah, I hate Elon Musk for a lot of reasons, but I'm not going to say it's not better. It's way better. A bunch of people got restored, even people I don't like. I don't like Owen Benjamin, but actually I'm really happy he's back on Twitter. And actually I was laughing at some of his jokes. Same with, I think Laura Loomer's on Twitter too. I don't like her. There are a bunch of people I don't even like, but I'm really happy they're back on Twitter because, well, then I can make fun of them on Twitter if I feel like. Same with, that's why I wish Trump was on Twitter. One reason is then people could respond to him, anybody. On Truth, it's just obviously it's a echo chamber. But, you just have options. That's all. I think people don't think about things that way sometimes. People say, it's the same thing with finance and stuff. They'll say, oh, Bitcoin is a scam. And then you're like, well, where's your money? What are you saving in? That's better. Okay, Bitcoin's got problems, but what are you talking about that's better? Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, Nathan, what's up?
Hey, not much, man. How are you doing?
Oh, not too bad. Hey, did you catch Vivek Ragswamy, however you say his name?
Yeah, I've been
on Tim Pool.
Oh, I didn't catch him on Tim Pool. I'm sorry. I cut you off before you finished. Sorry. Go ahead and finish what you're saying, and then I'll tell you. I don't know the answer yet.
Yeah, he was on Tim Pool's new podcast called Culture War.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Is that the one he has those millennials or Gen Z people doing at his house?
No, I think that's called pop culture or something.
Oh, it's different than that? Okay.
Yeah. I think he's only had 3 or 4 episodes, and they're on Fridays. I'm not the biggest fan of Tim Pool, but he does good work.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's a 2-hour podcast, just him and Vivek. And, they sit there for 2 hours and just go over topical things, and I thought he came off really good,
Yeah.
I think he could be a contender.
Yeah. I mean, if it was between Like if DeSantis doesn't run, and it's like between Vivek and Trump or something, I'd totally vote for Vivek. You know, so far, like out of all the candidates, if I had to rank, you know, my favorite Republican candidates, even though none of them are perfect, you know, DeSantis, I think has the DeSantis, I just feel like has the best chance of winning people over. And actually, like Vivek is a little extreme. So maybe so maybe for independents and stuff, he's not necessarily going to be like, I feel like DeSantis is probably more likely with independents, but yeah, Vivek I like. And actually, like I bring this up. Maybe people don't think it's a big deal, but you can't wager on. It's really weird. Like I feel like nobody's taking him seriously because you can't even bet on him you can't even bet on him for some reason. It's like
he's not going to win. Yeah. He's not going to win.
Well, but actually, like I feel like I'm seeing him gain traction though because of some of the things he's saying, and he's like really willing to say like what he said. What the realization I had about Twitter was when I saw Vivek's tweet actually, where he was like, trans is a mental illness. And I don't ever say that because I know, first of all, I don't know if I'm qualified. And like, I do think it is different, but I know that on the old Twitter though, like that's a very offensive thing to say. Right. And I would have been banned on the old Twitter, but you know, it's something a lot of people think. And again, it might be true. I mean, it used to be characterized as a disorder. I do think gender dysphoria, I mean, it is a disorder, you know? So I don't know, like calling, but so anyway, but yeah, he showed he's gone hard on the trans thing. Some of the other things are like, I just think it makes him sound, to me, it makes me sound like you're not serious when you say, oh, we're going to ban the FBI and replace it. Because that's never going to happen. No. You know what I mean? Or we're going to get rid of the Department of Education and stuff. It's probably you're not going to ban and replace the FBI or the IRS and stuff. So
he wants to, I'm sorry. Yeah. He wants to like, ban kids under 16 from using social media too, you know, which I have a 16-year-old. I don't agree with that. You know, I think that parents should control their kids' social media, but it's almost like, oh, if you're under 16, you have no rights in this country at all. Like, you know, I mean, kids are going to use social media. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the side of Republicans that's sometimes the most troubling to me is the authoritarian streak, which is like, oh, we're going to ban stuff, you know, where
but the fact that he went to Tim Pool though, and I understand he's trying to get his name out there, but to sit down on a very popular podcast or a podcast host, you know, this particular podcast is not Timcast IRL, you know, but to sit there for 2 hours and go over things. And Poole even said it. He goes, Trump wouldn't sit down with me, you know, and DeSantis wouldn't sit down with me. And Vivek was shitting all over DeSantis too.
Was he?
Funny.
Yeah.
But yeah. And he was, you know, he shows Trump respect, and he even said that he would, you know, he'll support Trump, you know, and maybe he's just looking for a cabinet position too, you know, that's very likely.
Sure.
But
I mean, running for president is a grift and it like raises your profile, right? And then you can sell more books and stuff.
Right. I just like that, you know, like for someone to sit down for 2 hours and actually explain their thoughts, you know, and he's smart. The dude is smart. You know, like I think smarter than Trump.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Harvard or Yale or something.
MIT. Right? I think I can't remember. Yeah, I'll look him up. Like he is genuinely, and he started like a biotech business, and he's like a hedge fund manager or something. And he wrote a few, and the books he wrote are definitely like relevant. You know, woke. It was like woke
Inc.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he went to Harvard and Yale. It's just so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny, isn't it? It's like he went to Harvard and Yale. DeSantis went to Harvard and Yale. You just look around.
Right.
Yeah. It's just crazy. That's why I think because of that. That's why I actually think it's almost like, okay, well, if all of these people that we're going to see are have gone to Harvard and Yale, well, then maybe we should make it fair for people to be able to get. Anyway, that's a different story. But
well, he's also close to a billionaire too. That helps,
right.
know.
And he's also the young. He's also by far the youngest candidate, only 37 years old. Like you have to be a minimum of 35, right, just to run for president. I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So
anyways, check it out, man. I think you'll like it.
Okay,
give
cool.
You some content for the show.
Okay, thanks, man.
Hey, I bought a T-shirt from you too, like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, hey, cool. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Do you like it?
Yeah, I do. It fits really well, man. It is. I like it.
Okay, cool.
So,
all right.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Nathan.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
See ya.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like I could show you. Maybe next episode I'll gather some stuff about DeSantis. Somebody sent me something like people are saying he was a attorney in Guantanamo and he supervised torture, which is possible. One reason Trump, like I have to write off Trump, is because he advocates for torture. I mean, he literally advocates for torture. He also advocates for like capital punishment, which I don't agree with, for crimes that I don't think you should kill people for. So like that stuff is kind of a deal breaker for me. But then I heard that DeSantis, that's what people are saying, is DeSantis supervised torture. And then I could play you, I never played it for you guys, but the clip, the opening of his monologue at the Jewish Republican convention or whatever it was, it's just disturbing the way some of these politicians talk about Israel. It's just, as an American, you're like, where are your loyalties, kind of, which is why I made the deep fake about DeSantis. I gotta download that. Do I have that on my? Oh yeah, I have that. I mean, they say the craziest. I mean, it's at that Jewish conference thing. They just say they just are. Yeah, it's just what do you call it? Pandering. They just pander to the Jewish Zionist donors. Trump is the anti-wars candidate. Well, Tulsi is very anti-war. Generally, she's pretty anti-war. Tulsi. DeSantis, we don't know much, right? But Trump assassinated somebody, which I just thought was so fucked up. And then he launched those missiles after a false flag, which I thought was kind of messed up. Understandable, right? False flags happen, stuff happens, but the assassination of Soleimani or whatever, that was like, I don't know why that's really messed up. That's really messed up, I think. I don't think we go around assassinating people. I don't think that's like the American way. I'll post the phone number. Drop a coffee if you feel like it. Oh. And like, if anybody, that's the thing, the shows are going to be longer. If anybody thinks there's a clip from the show or a segment from the show that you think would make a good video, I don't care. Do whatever you want with it. Like, I just don't have time. I don't have time to mess around with stuff. I don't have anybody helping me. So I'll make this content. I'll try to make a few bucks when I do the shows. Hopefully people will support the shows. And if people want to cut stuff up and share it, make YouTube shorts, whatever, up to you. If you think something funny happens, like I don't really know what people are going to be into, first of all. But if you see something, you're like, oh, this would be like a short video. Nobody has time to watch long videos. You can start another channel. I don't even care. If you make money, give me some. If the video does well, that's great. Whatever. So I give people license for that. I don't have anybody helping me. I'm thinking about somebody, but I'd have to pay that person. And I don't know if I'd actually make any money from it. I'm not sure. So, Andrew Tate has people out pushing his content all the time. That's what he did. A pyramid marketing scheme. Victoria Pandora says, are those LTV shirts soft, floppy cotton? You know, not the stuff that's too hot. I don't know. Like I wear them every day and they last a long time and they're really comfortable. It's called, we just went with a good brand. Next Level. Or some of it is, the t-shirts are mostly Next Level. Some of them are cotton. Some of them are a blend. They're really nice. And then some are, we have some made in America for real. Those are the ones that are a little more expensive, but they're way more expensive to buy. Like just, you know, like, a bulk t-shirt like this, that's not made in America, is probably, you know, less than $10 or something just for the bulk t-shirt. Then you got to print it and ship it and all that stuff. But I'm just saying, if you were to buy it in bulk for American made, it's like double at least. That's why people don't do it. We did it thinking maybe people would step up for it, but that's really the issue with buying the stuff that's American, is people aren't willing to pay the amount extra that it costs. It just costs so much more in reality. But we found a place that does like American made with American cotton. It's like amazing, but you have to order minimum supplies, and it's like really expensive. The shirts, you'd want to sell them for like $50 basically to really have the correct margin. We sell them for like 35, and then some of them are marked down. You can go truthclothing.io if you want to buy them. We have some of them marked down. Yeah, I mean, buy our t-shirts for sure. This is a crypto future shirt. I haven't checked on the Bitcoin chart. It's cool. We got a few people tuned in. Not bad. I'll say it was relatively successful. I say it was relatively successful for the first time. Hopefully we'll get more people tuned in. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want, I'll rename the show Unpopular Opinions. That's what we'll call it. Yeah, then tomorrow we can talk about how Jesus Christ survived the crucifixion. I was thinking if the AI knows that story. Yeah, that's the problem I have at Easter. Like, I really don't want to be, because I'm cool. Like, Jesus is super cool, and like I'd say like for morality and stuff. Like, I look at, I think about what Jesus said, you know, but I'm not even comfortable calling myself Christian, because Christians can be so weird and hypocritical and judgmental and all these things. But also I think he might have survived. That's all. But we can look into that story. That's one of my favorite conspiracy theories. And to me, it's like a better story, because he did ask God to save him. And then, like, it's weird if God was like, oh, Jesus, yeah. Does anybody else think that's weird? That Jesus prayed to be saved and God didn't save him? What kind of lesson is that? Where Daniel, it's a different story. Daniel prayed and he got saved from the lions. Also, maybe because he was vegetarian and didn't smell like meat. And then John the Baptist ate bugs. People are so against bugs. John the Baptist ate bugs, honey and locusts, because he was like an ascetic. He wore like a hair thing, a camel hair. Was it camel hair? Yeah, he ate bugs and honey. So that's why I'm like, bugs. People are a little over the top. Protein's protein, right? Not saying they should ban steak, but if people want to eat bugs, I'm not saying, like, that's how I feel. Like, Republicans would be like, let's ban bugs. You know, if people want to eat bugs, who cares? People, like, same thing. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, Nathan, how's it going?
It's going all right. How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. Early stream today, huh?
I've in case you missed it, the schedule, I'm because I learned that my other job is more lucrative during the hours that I normally stream, and also the way I was doing it, I always had to end the stream because I had to go, like, I had to make dinner. Like, I always had to end the stream at like 6:30 or something. So that was kind of dumb in case I wanted to stream longer. So anyway, I'm earlier, and also now it's not at the same time as Tim Pool, and so yeah, but we'll
it's
we'll
a
see
little
how it
bit
goes.
more like a hangout now, like a hangout session.
Yes, I am hanging
not
out.
rushed.
I am hanging out a little more, right? Yes, I'm hanging out a little more. Yeah. So what do you think?
chill.
What do you think of the new format so far?
I think it's good.
Okay.
It's just iChange is good.
Okay.
And also it seems like Friday you were all energized, and it seems like you're just carrying that energy through the weekend, and I think it's good. It seems like you kind of like turned over a new leaf, or you're just tinkering with the format.
Yeah, I could tell you about it. I mean, yeah, I kind of, there's like, there's like a difference. There's like a difference. I could talk, I can't talk about it 100%, but like, it's, well, first of all, there was like a despair, and then, and then a recovery from the despair, where I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe maybe instead of being in despair, I could just do this and this. And so anyway, I'm definitely just a lot more active, even if it's stuff people aren't interested in. I'm just posting way more stuff, which makes me feel like creative, and I'm making memes and stuff. And I made the deep fakes. That's fun for me. The deep fakes to me are so hilarious, even if other people don't care. So.
Right on. Yeah. I was thinking about what you're saying about Jesus. He actually didn't pray to God for him to save him.
What did he say?
Prayed to God. He said to forgive the people that crucified him.
Didn't he say? And then on the cross, he said, "Why hast thou forsaken me?" Right? But they say that was a line. Like biblical scholars say he wasn't actually saying that to God. That was like a line from a famous that like people would have known at the time. But I thought he did ask.
But yeah, even that's not a request to save, though. I mean, I don't know. I think he knew, right? It was the thing is he knew that in order for the prophecy to be carried out, he had to. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, interesting. Anyway, yeah, I looked into the theory before. It's just like, okay, so here's the story. He got hung up near sunset on Friday before Passover, and they had to take him down before sunset. And so he was only up there for a few hours. And the people that got hung up next to him, the thieves that got crucified next to him, they weren't dead. So they broke their legs to make, because if people know how crucifixion works, like you eventually like sag so much that you stop breathing, I guess. So the people next to him hadn't died yet. So they actually had to kill them. But then the people, they convinced the guards that Jesus was already dead. And then they convinced the Romans to release the body to this wealthy benefactor, who then took him somewhere where the herbs that it says that they took to him were not embalming herbs, but were healing herbs, so it is a little weird. And then also like the resurrection story, it was just bolted on to the end of one of the Gospels. I don't know if it's Mark, where they were just like, where somebody else just wrote it. Like it wasn't part of the original story, the resurrection, in one of the books. They just added it, and it's kind of sloppy and it's really short. You're like, oh, where'd that come from? They're like, oh, and then he was resurrected, and that's it.
Yeah. Is a lot of that information from that book, The Passover Plot?
Oh no, I haven't read that. I don't know where I looked into it quite a bit. I mean,
I think that might have been one of the earlier books, and actually, apparently, the Beatles were into that book or something, and it like ties into the whole fall McCartney thing. But I don't know.
You mean the McCartney fake death Is that what you mean?
Well, no, the fake McCartney, like that. There's actually a really good documentary that's pretty convincing called "The Winged Beetle,"
Mm-hmm.
and it's like referencing the scarab, that rises from the ashes, kind of like the phoenix or whatever, the dung beetle from
the
Egyptian.
scarab. Yeah, it's Egyptian, right? It's the Egyptian,
and
the
that's
dung
why,
beetle, right?
yeah, and that's basically why Paul McCartney created that book, the band Wings, which was like it's like rising from the ashes, because the last album wasn't a Beatles album, it was Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. It wasn't the Beatles, right? The Beatles were dead.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's so interesting about
Yeah,
Beatles.
because that whole cover and everything, the Beatles is like a grave. It's written in flowers, the Beatles, and
oh, sure.
And then yeah, there's just all this symbolism around the album. So that's not a Beatles album, is basically what they're saying. This is the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club album. And then the supposedly fake Paul McCartney, when he's like, okay, I'm gonna rise again as a phoenix, and that was Wings,
right?
Like the winged beetle, the beetle. And then so there's all this symbolism around it, but anyways, it ties in somewhat to that Passover plot, like in that documentary. Anyways, they talk about that, I think, a little bit.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'm interested in all that stuff. So, I'm looking at stories of gospel resurrection because I see people in the chat. But yeah, that sounds interesting to me. Yeah, I
yeah,
listen.
You should look it up. Winged Beetle, it's cool.
The Winged Beetle, yeah. I mean, that stuff is really, I mean, all those, the allegory of the phoenix, it's very common, and well, that's what are basically all the birds and flags and stuff are kind of the phoenix. Even the eagle, like the Nazi eagle, and mostly they're kind of like actually references to the phoenix. So, which is, a classic story, which is from the ashes.
Yeah, I mean, even the eagle from America, which was the Amaruca, was the eagle that was a symbol of like the Mayans and the Incas.
Mm-hmm.
It was the plumed serpent or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where America comes from, is the eagle, like, or the plumed serpent or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Kind of
right.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's all esoteric. Yeah.
But yeah, I was just wondering too, that you said you like forgave a bunch of your like gang stalkers.
Mm-hmm.
I know
That's
that
true.
was like I always want to call him Fandango, but whatever his name, Defango.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of them. But like, so was there other ones that are still, that you think were actually tied into, like, the feds or something? Or
Not feds. No. Like I had like Jelena was involved. So like she hated me and she ganged up with people that were involved in a group that was trying to, and she made a video like confessing about it. And I was like, oh, she feels bad about it. So,
Oh, no.
Yeah, but All Seeing You was involved. She confessed to it. I don't have a problem with her. She still doesn't like me, but she at least like apologized. But then there were also no, it wasn't feds though. Well, I don't think it was.
Did they have funding though? Was there like some funding someone was paying them or something? Because there seems like there would have to be some incentive.
I don't know what the deal is with the person who they had catfish me, because that person was like available all day to fucking talk to me and then use the things I was saying against me and share with, and like, so I'm not like that person. I mean, I was dealing with the Hampstead case. And I know they were talking to people who were from England who were part of something that were doing it. So, but I don't
did you actually meet that person, the catfish?
Never in real life. No, I just talked to her on the phone. I talked to her on the phone. Then basically like we just talked on Discord all the time. But then she was working with these other people talking shit about me, sharing the things that I was saying to her, so it was totally. And then also she would like make up stories to fuck with me. Like she made up things. She would like, she made it seem like she was under the scam. Was the psyop was that I was covering Hampstead, and they wanted to make it seem like bad things were happening to her because of me covering Hampstead. That was what the psyop was. So like she kept telling me these stories about terrible things that were happening to her, which I found out later weren't true at all. Like she told me she like broke her jaw, and then like she ended up getting caught in a lie because she was like, oh, if anybody wants to talk to me on the phone. And the person was like, well, except for your broken jaw. And she was like, oh yeah. And I even got her to admit later that wasn't true. So, I mean, it was a pretty sophisticated psyop. It's kind of fucked up. I mean, not kind of.
They're just kind of like, they want to do their own power play, sort of.
What's that?
Their own little,
who?
All the people that were in on the gang stalking, that was, I mean, right? It seems like they were just like, oh, we're gonna, turn. It's like, seems like some kind of like twisted kind of way to like gain some kind of weird power or control over someone, manipulate somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, like.
Yeah, the particular. I mean, if I like the particular thing with the catfish situation. I mean, some people, like I've seen it, how people get, like, people were upset with me. Maybe not for the, like, not always, like I was acting crazy. So, I was attacking people that I shouldn't be attacking. I was paranoid about things. So then anyway, what ended up happening was like a bunch of people really hated me and just wanted me to suffer. And like that happens on the internet.
Teach you a lesson, kind of.
Like, it's just like what happened with Eliza Blue, for example, is like, with the Eliza Blue situation, like she is a bad person, but then it wasn't like we need to expose Eliza Blue. It's like, we need to destroy her life. That's how people felt about me. Like real people were like, oh, like we need to like make it like totally destroy his life, maybe make him kill himself. I mean, I think that might've been the goal for some people. And that happens online to other, like there are people and just internet mobs are susceptible to that, because for some reason, like, it's just people get this feeding frenzy where they're like, oh, we just need to expose this person, destroy this person. Even after they've exposed them and everything, they're like, oh no, we haven't done enough to fuck up their life,
Yeah, and that was like a precursor to 2020, I feel like. Because I had people do that to me on like Facebook and on Instagram and stuff. Just
really,
I mean, Instagram was harder for them to do it because it's like DMs mostly.
Right.
Because but Facebook was just like, and this was before even the George Floyd thing happened. Just, I feel they were. It was almost like there was all like Trump. Out of Trump came this just divisiveness that just kind of cultivated hatred and wanted to destroy each other, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, Hoax Wars. I think Hoax Wars kind of brought it up when he was on the show with me the other day. Is he's like, it happened to me, and now it's like just normal, basically. I mean, it's sort of like, oh, like you're a TERF, like that's what happens to, J.K. Rowling or this swimmer girl, or like anybody who speaks out about the trans thing. It's like they don't feel they literally would be happy if you killed yourself. Like, so they'll do whatever, or all up to and including violence, threats, things that are against the law. It's now that's like the standard technique. It's like, and Tim Pool gets swatted over and over again, and
Yeah, but like you said, you feel like it's faded though. People, do you think it's kind of calmed down? Do you think it's going to come back, or do you think people are kind of
to me, or
I think it is kind of like a lesson. I mean, because I think a lot of these people that try to destroy people or lashed out. I mean, I do think there's like that what goes around comes around kind of thing. A lot of people maybe have hopefully learned their lesson.
Well, this is what I noticed. This is what I noticed is, and why I also try to think of like in terms of Christianity, like the golden rule is like, what I noticed is that you can attack somebody and you can be totally right, and it still doesn't end up well for you. Like, because it's just like, if I wanted to say something negative about somebody, let's say I'm totally 100% correct. Well, they might start saying things negative about me. And there are plenty of things people could say that that maybe people would relate to. So, and then I also watched with the Eliza Blue thing is there was this community of people that were all focused on basically destroying Eliza Blue, or what they call exposing Eliza Blue. Well, once that story faded, they all started attacking each other, and then it was suddenly, and so even like the main, Fair and Balance was one of the main people. Then all of a sudden everybody was after her, and then everybody was after DeFango. Actually, it happened to DeFango too. Like DeFango exposed Eliza Blue, and then in the end, everybody attacked DeFango. It's just what happens.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, maybe there was a way to do it and a way not to do it, because I mean, Eliza, you shouldn't probably be using the human trafficking thing to get popular. It's probably not.
Yeah, right.
It deserves some kind of retribution for that. But
yeah, definitely. It's not like it didn't deserve to be exposed. It was just that I noticed, because I hosted some Twitter spaces and stuff, I just noticed the energy from some people was like they wanted to hurt her basically. And I always wanted to come at it from, the angle of like, I'm not trying to, she's still a person. She made a mistake. She's not apologizing for her mistake. She's wrong, all this stuff. But if it were me, I always just try to think, I make mistakes, how would I want people, I'm okay with criticism. That's cool if it's fair. But when people make it personal and stuff, it does come back at you. That's all. And I have experience with that, because every time I've ever exposed anybody, something always comes back on me, which is why I just don't do it that much anymore.
Yeah. I mean, interesting thing about the Hampstead thing, that being, so you don't think that was really a reason why people were coming after you? Or
I do think that was part of it, but there were other things too. Because then I said George Webb was Dave Swigert, and Dave Swigert is like a freaking military grade gang stalker. Like he ended up sending letters to my dad telling him that I was doing, and then people called my psychiatrist and said people actually,
yeah.
I mean, so
I wouldn't really, I mean, from Hampstead, it does kind of seem like that really is happen. And if it is, it does mean that there probably are really sadistic cells going on around the world. I don't know. But it is weird, because I remember you were talking about SRA in one of your Twitter posts years ago. And then I mentioned the Hampstead case. I just wrote, I didn't even talk about it. And then some guy that had to have been searching Hampstead came in and started just trying to get his teeth into me. And it was just it's just weird how where did this guy come from? All of a sudden he's just it's like they're looking, they have to be searching for that so that they can find and try to
I mean, they have a whole website, right, called Hoaxstead, where they would write articles about me and anybody who talked about Hampstead to expose us and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think that's probably one of the more creepy SRA stories of all time, just because of all the interviews with the kids and the fact that the police did get involved. And then it's just super creepy. I don't know. That's probably one of the.
Yeah, that story. I mean, I ended up talking to Ella. I mean, it's so difficult. It's like anything. I mean, I ended up talking to Ella, and it's true that they hit the kids when they were confessing to this stuff the first time. So Ella and her husband, who wasn't the father, because Ricky Dearman was the father, or Eleanor partner, whoever this other guy was. It is true that he hit one of the kids when he was making the confession to make him say something. So that can always be used against them. And then, they had the kids on a vegan diet, which at the time I didn't even think about it that much, because vegan, I wasn't used to this whole vegan thing. And people were reporting them for child abuse for putting the kids on a vegan diet. And I was so, which is kind of crazy. Right. But,
well, yeah, lot of people do that.
Yeah. So anyway, they were like, they weren't perfect and they ended up not being. So that story and the ending of that story is just, it's not a happy ending because it seems like the kids are back with Ricky Dearman, So
Yeah, it's wild. I don't know, that whole thing. And even when they talk to that school where all that stuff, like the lady, like, look, it's just creepy.
Yeah.
The lady who was like giving the story, her eyes are all just had that look in their eyes where they're really wide and they're just like, there's just something, there's something going on in those eyes that does not seem like natural,
Mm-hmm.
and you can kind of see it in Ricky Dearman himself and everything.
Oh yeah, Ricky Dearman looks scary.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, forgiveness. I think I don't know about forgiving for that stuff, but I feel like I've still not kind of decided with a lot of the people that lashed out at me because of 2020, 2021 stuff. I'm just like, I'm not. If you want to like cut, like, come to me and be like, hey, everything's chill. I'm sorry, or even maybe not even say I'm sorry, but it kind of just seems like it's better just to leave it. Like, okay, if you want to make amends, I'm open, but I'm not, I'm like kind of done with the point of trying to reach out to them. I'm just like kind of moved on. I have a girlfriend. I don't really, I want to have friends again, but it's just a mess out there. That almost doesn't even seem worth it for most people because there's just so much just garbage that gets brought up with people's
well, I'll tell you, like as far like where I'm at, and Schwarzenegger might not mean what he said, and maybe I'm wrong to forgive him, but where I'm at with, like, for example, like my dad and his girlfriend, like they were kind of jerks a little bit about the whole COVID thing, like, just saying, oh, you're not vaccinated, and like we'd come over for the holidays and we'd like sit outside and like it's stupid, right? And I could hold it against them, but since they're not doing it anymore, even though they haven't apologized, I'm just like, I'm willing to get over it, basically. Like I'm not holding it against them, basically. So, and that goes with pretty much most of the people who were so authoritarian and stuff, is as long as they're not that way now, even if they haven't apologized, I think they might feel sorry, actually. Like, I think they might realize that they were wrong, but they're not going to say they're sorry, but they're just not doing it anymore, which to me is like, so I am, I just generally have a spirit where I just have a spirit. I don't know. I just have a spirit where I'm willing to take people at whatever, they're giving me.
That's family. You have to, you can't like.
Yeah, with family too, right?
With family, especially.
Yeah.
But just all the drama with just friends, like, I don't owe you anything. I don't like need to be, abused just to, I don't owe a lot of the people that were trying to destroy me or like shame me or something. It's like, I don't like, who are you? A lot of these people I barely knew. Some of them were, good friends from childhood and stuff, but it's like, I don't like, I'll see you, I was kind of just like, see you later, whatever.
Yeah.
I used to want people to like me a lot, like, it's like, I just want to be liked. I want everyone to like me and be cool. And like and social. I never was very good at it anyways, but then I'm just kind of like you get to this point, it's like, man, you don't need to like people. If people like you, then they'll actually be your friend. If people, if you're trying to do the song and dance for people, then you're just better off, being alone at least.
Yeah, the way I see it is like, I want people to like me for the way I am, and I'm going to be the way I am. And I hope that, I hope that people respond to that, but I definitely, trying to be something else to make people like you is totally crazy, because, what are you going to do? Pretend the whole time, so,
Well, yeah, you have a lot of fans on the internet. I mean, right? I mean, I appreciate your content because it is just kind of like more grounded. It's like it's fun, and it isn't, it is. I mean, it's just more genuine and truthful. I do feel it is not like you're not trying to be like super successful. You're not. I mean, it's not like you have this. You're not putting out this false persona. It's just kind of like take it or leave it. And that's what I like about this thing, and I think a lot of people appreciate. But
thanks.
I mean, it's kind of it's the internet game and all that. It's obviously super vulnerable and everything, but appreciate that you're putting yourself out there. So
thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, well, have a good one. Nice talking to you.
Cool. Good talking to you too.
Peace.
See ya. Okay, that's cool. He's nice. All right, that's cool. Well, good. I hope people appreciate the content. But yeah, I am gonna have some unpopular opinions. Let's see if anybody gave me any coffees. You can support this show by 1 coffee. But I might wrap it up after this call. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, Nathan. It's me, Mike, Parody Bear.
Hey, Parody Bear. What's up?
I want to start off by saying everybody double check how your Google accounts are set up and your bank accounts. Always have a second verification thing. Make sure your phone's always with you. I got hacked about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. I was actually, that does worry me. I mean, if I can just clarify what you're saying, I do get worried sometimes about the websites I log into using my Google account in case my Google account ever gets banned. Like, I know I haven't heard of any that happening to anybody in a long time, but I remember back in the day, like sometimes when people's YouTube channels would get shut down, their email accounts would get shut down. So yeah, I worried about that. I was like, oh, and there were some sites I even logged in with my YouTube account, and then my YouTube account doesn't exist anymore. And I was like, okay, that wasn't the smartest way to log in.
Mm-hmm. Did you see how Lennox and recently a guy I watch, he's called Jeff Mack, and he just like covers live events and stuff. Well, I think he fell for the exact same thing as Lennox, except what was strange about his is he got on the phone with YouTube, and YouTube was like, well, describe that link to us. And he told him what it was, and they was like, oh, yeah, that's us. Click it. And that's when his stuff disappeared. And I think he had 2 channels.
Oh, weird.
He's got the Jeff Mack channel, and he's got like a hooligan channel. Frenchy son, please. But I want everybody to be extra careful. Have 2 or 3 verification things on your bank account. I'm thinking about not even having cards anymore. I've been using cash for like 2 weeks.
Use cash, yeah. That's interesting. It's hard. It's hard just to use cash, though, is the thing.
So I'm probably going to mail something to your PO box later on.
Oh, you're cool, man. That's nice. Yeah, I checked that. That's why I have a PO box. So that's cool. Thanks.
No, the Hampstead. Oh, I don't want to even talk. What was the case that involved the Bushes and then some kind of home in South Dakota? Was it?
Oh, I don't know that story at all. Off the top of my head, I don't know what you're talking about.
Let me think if I know more about it. If I start thinking about that, I forget the other stuff, though.
Come on, give us something.
I don't know. Let's concentrate. Remember when Obama was running for president, and that guy came out and said he'd been doing stuff with Obama, and they supposedly went out and got coke together, and didn't he like die right away?
I don't remember that. I don't remember that story. I do remember Obama talking about doing coke, but I don't remember somebody exposing him.
This was an interview in Chicago. Some little chubby white guy did, and supposedly he had met with Obama. Now I don't understand how come the whole Obama not being born in the USA, and remember how Trump was all like the birth certificate, and then didn't he even find out the birth certificate was fake? It's just like, nah, nobody cares now. Then even after he was president, I think he even admitted he was Nigerian or whatever. And then you know Judge Joe Brown, he's been doing a show with some young black girl. I think she's related to him somehow. But he did watch that video where he's talking about Barry Sorrento and who he thought Obama's dad, real dad was. Well,
Hmm.
there's like a picture of Obama when he's a little kid and he's with the Papal, the one they call Poppy Bush.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I saw that. There's a picture of Obama as a kid with the bushes.
Which you know how they can always fake stuff.
Oh,
But
yeah.
supposedly, yeah, the picture of a kid.
Yeah,
But
right.
Judge Joe Brown, if you search YouTube, it's still on YouTube. You just search Judge Joe Brown Obama, and I think you got to scroll like 20 down. Hey, what about this theory about the dead internet, where you put in like a search topic, right? You can put in something, something real common, and then you scroll down, it'll tell you at the bottom that there's like 1 billion results, and then you
Yeah.
keep scrolling, you get like 10, 11 pages in, and stuff starts repeating, and then it like dead ends at like 12 pages, pretty much anything. What's up with that?
Oh, that's interesting. I've never really. That's interesting. I'll look into that.
There's a guy I watch on YouTube. I think his channel's called All Time, and then he does like Mandela effects too. But he did a thing on the dead internet. I guess he had seen it from somebody else though. Now, I try other search engines like SwissCow. What's the Russian one? Proton or Yandex, Google.
Yandex.
I don't really mess with the Microsoft one, whatever the hell that is, Edge or
Bing, Edge, Bing, and Edge.
I even got Safari. I use Apple Safari because I kind of trust that one. So I can search
Interesting. Yeah, I mean,
But
Apple.
I like search with
Apple
all of them, and they all dead end though.
Oh,
The
interesting.
most common thing you put in the internet, scroll like 10 pages in, and it's just like dead ends. Like, wait a minute, you said there was 56 billion results. How does it dead end at 12 pages?
Interesting. I'll have to look into it.
Oh, I think. Have you seen any of my parodies?
No, well, you mean the lyrics you
I
sent me?
basically just write them, but I guess I'm going to have to sing them.
Yeah.
But the very beginning of COVID, when
I
I
have
was
to
seeing
hear
all
it.
the Chinese, when I was seeing all the Chinese videos of Chinese people dropping dead supposedly, so I took the Michael Jackson song Thriller and I made a COVID parody.
Yeah.
But what's really weird about that is there's a new, I guess when the 40th anniversary of the Michael Jackson thing came out, they found some old songs of his, and there's a demo version of Thriller called Starlight Sun that's just weird. It's like, where did this go from? I even take my parody words and match them up with, that song, and then I put my little Vincent Price part at the end. It's pretty funny. I've done like a couple Huey Lewis songs. I did like Jamie's Crying, but I made it Jamie's Dying.
Yeah,
I kind of make it.
You'll be able to
I kind
use.
of
You'll be able.
Curtis.
You'll be able to use.
Yeah, I'm looking into it. I looked into it yesterday.
Yeah. Cool.
It's kind of weird sometimes when you put the info that you want in your song into the AI. They is like I'm offended.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
well, that's the problem. Is
come on now, you're supposed to be. I'll tell it to pretend it's Weird Al, and that's how you guys do the damn thing. And,
right.
Well, I'll say, hey, you're Weird Al. I'll pretend you're Weird Al.
Right.
So if it gives me back something that it's offended, I'm like, Weird Al wouldn't be offended. Come on, write it.
Yeah.
You like egg it on, and it'll do it.
Yeah. The people I've seen memes about talking to ChatGPT where people ask it a question and it just like people are annoyed that they'll ask ChatGPT to do something and it always says, as an AI model, I am not allowed to do this and this. And so people say that's super annoying. It's like a meme now. So,
you know how I kind of let on that I think the end times are coming?
Oh, yes.
Have you ever seen these videos where like somebody will hear something like in the sky and like, where's that sound coming from?
Yeah, I've seen that.
I guess there's some recent ones from Australia. And then you know how they try to debunk us flat earthers by saying the stars rotate the exact opposite way down south like Australia?
Yeah, the stars are different
Okay,
on
imagine
the southern.
this. Imagine you're looking at a clock facing it, right? Now take the clock off the wall and look at the clock from the backside. Doesn't it spin the opposite way?
I think so.
If you look, that's what one of the guys get. Well, yeah, if you're looking the opposite direction, it's going to spin opposite.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
One of the things that I justify why I think it's a flat Earth is why are the stars the same as from when I was a kid to
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
Supposedly there was a hole in the Georgia Guidestones that you could look through for 41 years, and there was Polaris.
Yeah. I agree with you 100% on that. Like whether the Earth is flat or not, like the stars thing, I don't know. I don't know how. It just seems to me that any smart person should be able to think about that and think it doesn't make sense, because the story is we're throttling through space at, I don't know, they say like 600,000 miles an hour. Like
I
there's,
got it all added up.
there's no, there's no anchor keeping us like in certain kind of proximity to other objects or anything. Everything else should be also moving in some kind of, crazy random motion. But meantime, the stars have been the same for, as long as human history, in a predictable like 22,000 year pattern or something, whatever it is. So yeah, that's not possible. That's not possible in the model that they give us.
Yeah, and then you think about like, well, if the sun is what's so strong and holding us, how come every time the moon comes around, it just don't grab the moon?
Yeah.
And make it Venus or something.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's gravity is a
Okay,
whole gravity is a whole different thing.
Here's all the speed. I got it all wrote down. Earth's rotation 1,000 miles per hour. Earth's orbit the sun 66,600 miles per hour. Now, there's a reason why it's 666 though.
Yeah, right.
Sun's orbit around the galaxy 514,000 miles per hour. Galaxy traveling through space 3,600,000 miles per hour.
Yeah, and then all the stars are in the exact same place with like no parallax or anything. It's not. This doesn't make sense. Also, things like comets and things. I just think like
those must be just something dropping through the firmament, or I don't know, maybe it's a demon on Mars.
Well, like I just think about it like Halley's Comet or what have you. It comes by every 70 years or whatever it is. I just think to myself, basically, I think that the Earth must be the center of the universe. That's what I think, and that there isn't life other places. And that there are like.
I'm thinking there might be a little more to what is here, but whatever we are in is the center of the universe.
Yeah, that's what I think.
We might be like four Earths all stuck together under four different domes or under the same dome. I don't know.
It just doesn't make sense. I just think about comets and stuff, and I just think, well, why would it just happen to come by Earth every 70 years? Like if it's just a comet going out, why does it happen to pass by Earth? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there must be something special about it.
There must be, there's something about Earth. It does. So I agree. I just don't know for sure if it's flat, because in a lot of ways it seems round, or spherical is what I mean. It is if it's flat. If it's flat, it's also round. But
ways they'll try to make you say it's round is when the boat goes out and the boat disappears.
Yeah,
but now we know you get a better camera and the boat comes right back in.
Yeah.
And then on the camera the boat goes away. Then you break out a big old telescope and there it is again.
Yeah.
And then there's that picture somebody took in Chicago, like 200 and something miles.
Yeah.
And the city should have been like.
Yep. That's definitely
like
true.
2 miles under.
You definitely don't observe. A curve. That's for sure.
Like recently, Daily Wire put out a flat Earth debunk video. It's basically about Apollo 11 and stuff. I actually watched that from beginning to end, and I swear by the end of that, I was convinced. Man, Mike, you're a dumbass for thinking the Earth's flat.
Right.
They spend millions of dollars of. I thought my brother was saying, "Oh, you talking flat Earth again?"
Yeah. Well, that's fun. Anyway, cool,
I
man.
just think it's funny because if I think it is and other people don't, I'm like, what happened in me to where I was able to like break free of the MKO? Because it's almost like, I think I talked to you before. Oh, I wanted to tell you one more thing before I forget. There's a video on YouTube. It's called Upside Down Earth, I think called. And that Celebrate Truth guy did it. But then he's got the link to this church. And then if you go to the church, he's got a video called Revelation of Jesus Christ. And he's pretty much saying, I think his name is Tyler Durkin. Let me see. Tyler Dorca. And he's saying he's actually Jesus Christ. And when he figured it out and came out, pretty much everybody crucified him. And now I'm like 3 or 4 videos in, and I think he just said that to get like attention, but
Yeah.
the guy does some really good videos, and I really like his church.
Okay. All right. Cool, man.
All right, man. It was nice talking to you.
Good
I
talking
don't
to you
wanna bore
too.
you.
No, you're not. Man. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Good talking to you. See
I'll
ya.
try to remember that one Bush story.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Talk to you later. See ya. Okay. All right, cool. Well, let's see if I got any more coffees. If you want to support the show, the new format and everything, drop some coffees. I did 3 hours. So it is valuable. And I got Reiner and Rautenberg special shout out for being our lead sponsor for the show. But you can drop support anytime by going to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. It is important to support the show. You can become a subscriber there. You can buy our t-shirts at truthclothing.io. I told you about them. You can, and then follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/lifttheveil411, on Telegram, t.me/lifttheveil411. And if you need any help with crypto, let me know. I have a website for that, bitcoinmissionary.com. And I was showing you the Bitcoin chart. It's doing good. All right, cool. So thanks, everybody. I'll download this show and upload it as a podcast and see if people want to hear a 3-hour podcast. This is a different format. So I'm open to all feedback and criticism, especially if the feedback and criticism is to say, oh, this is how you can, get more coffees or something. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Good to see you. Thanks for the calls. And thanks for the kind words and stuff. All right. So we'll see you at the next one. For now, that's what it is.